Hello and welcome, everyone. It's so wonderful to see so many of you joining us here and to see you joining from all over the world. Thank you so much for all of your messages of greetings in the chat box. You're joining a free online event called We Are the Earth and the Earth is Us, Mindfulness and the Climate Movement. And we're really excited about welcoming you to this event and to share some of the key themes that are going to be explored this evening are themes that are resonant from the Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet online course. And we're so happy that so many of the course alumni are joining us this evening, as well as people that are completely new to this course as well. This is really going to be an exploration, an exploration of some key topics and an invitation to get to know some of our teachers, some of our alumni, and our wider community. So a warm welcome to you all. To open this event, we are going to have, we're lucky to have a guided meditation practice from Sister Don Hanh, who is a monastic from Lower Hamlet in Plum Village. And Sister Don Hanh will also be one of the teachers on the Spanish edition of Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet. So we're running the course in both English and Spanish, and Sister Don Hanh will be one of the Spanish teachers. So I will in a moment hand over to Sister Don Hanh to guide us in a landing meditation. Just to let you know that during the meditation, we're gonna close the chat box just so that we can all really land and arrive in the meditation together. And then after the meditation, we'll reopen the chat box so we can connect together some more. So dear sister, over to you.
Thank you very much, dear Flo. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live event together. I'm very happy to meet all of you. And I would like to invite you to practice a guided meditation in which we have the opportunity to connect with ourselves, with our breath, our body, and also with the earth. So I invite you to find a comfortable position. If you are sitting in a chair or in a cushion, you can be straight but relaxed. You can let go all the tensions, and if you wish, you can close your eyes. And we will start with 3 sounds of the bed. I listen, I listen. This wonderful sound gives me back to my true home. Breathing in, I know that this is an in-breath. Breathing out, I know that this is an out-breath. In-breath, out-breath. Just observing, being aware of our breath, of the air entering and leaving our body. If our breath is short, we allow it to be short. If our breath is long, we allow it to be long. Breathing in, I become aware of my whole body. Breathing out, I smile and relax my whole body. In breath, I become aware of my body. Out breath, I smile, I relax. As I breathe in, I am aware of our beautiful planet Earth, the most beautiful in the entire solar system. As I breathe out, I smile with gratitude to Mother Earth, aware of our beautiful planet Earth, smiling with gratitude to Mother Earth. Breathing in, I feel the earth holding me. Breathing out, the earth accepts and supports me just as I am. Breathing in, the earth holding me. Breathing out, the earth accepting and support me. As I breathe in, I know that I am part of Mother Earth. As I breathe out, I see that Mother Earth is within me. Aware that I am part of Mother Earth, seeing that Mother Earth is within me. Thank you, dear friends, for practicing this guided meditation together. I hope you enjoyed and that you were able to connect with yourself and with our planet, our beloved planet. We are ending this guided meditation with 3 sounds of the bell. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Sister Don Hanh, for this beautiful guided practice. I can see by the hearts and the reactions from our dear community friends here that, yeah, everyone very much appreciated it. So I would love to now welcome those that have just joined since during the meditation. You're joining the We Are the Earth and the Earth is Us live event. We've got a wonderful panel discussion now in this event where we're going to explore mindfulness and the climate movement and some of the key themes that are drawn on in the Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet, the ZASP online course. So I'm going to introduce our wonderful panel now. We're joined by Felipe, who is a Chilean-born writer, artist, and strategist, and also a teacher on the ZASP course, and an Order of Interbeing member. We're joined also by Georgina, who's a ZASP, a lovely ZASP alumni, and also a ZASP ambassador volunteer, and CEO of She Ventures and a recognized voice on business and mindfulness. And also we're joined by Coryna, who's also a wonderful ZASP alumni, and Coryna is also the program director of Beloved Community Circles, and a PhD candidate researching climate anxiety. So welcome all. What a beautiful panel of speakers here. And just to let everyone know that's joining, I've reopened the chat box and we really welcome you to be part of this discussion. So feel free to write comments during our discussion. And also if you've got a question, feel free to write it in the chat and we'll try to come to some audience questions later on in our time together. But to start off with, maybe we could just hear from each of you your kind of experience with the ZASP course and yeah, how you experienced it, what you learned, and anything you'd like to share just in way of introduction. And maybe I could go to you first, Felipe.
Thank you, Flo. Hello, everybody. It's really nice to be here with you this Wednesday, October 1st. And as an ecologist, as an activist, I was very interested always in this question of the ecological crisis and what we can do about it. And also, as a practitioner as well, I've been studying and learning from Thich Nhat Hanh, from our beloved teacher, and also been practicing with Plum Village for some time. And and when this course started to take shape, I was in Plum Village, and some of the monastics who are also our friends were like, "Oh, Felipe, we would love for you to be a part of." And that's it really. And so it's been a beautiful journey to see how people are hearing about it and how the community keeps growing and how we practice with what is very alive for us today. Not only the ecological crisis, but also the different crises, the social crisis, the genocide, all different things that we're grappling with today. So yeah, I would leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Felipe. And Georgina, would you like to share?
Hi, everyone, and it's really wonderful to be with you all today. I read the book a few years ago, so that was my introduction to the course before it was designed. And I am an activist as well. I'm also a mountaineer, and being an explorer has opened my eyes to a world that is both beautiful and fragile. And Mother Earth holds me and has held me so many times in my life when things have been difficult. And it's where I go for healing and peace. And I read the book and it resonated with me. And it was something I wish that everyone would read, especially like business leaders and people that maybe don't have this connection to Earth that I feel so passionately about. And so Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet, somebody's asking what the book is. And that's where this course, Flo can probably speak more to how it was designed. But anyhow, I joined the course last year, and it was a really beautiful experience and also a really powerful reminder of how important our own practice is. As we do this work, if those of us that are in the activist space, or just to even process maybe the multiple feelings we have on a daily basis. And so it's really an honor to be here and share with all of you. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, dear Georgina, and yeah, thank you for bringing in the book. Indeed, the course is based on a book of the same title by Thich Nhat Hanh with contributions from Sister Tree Dedication. And so the learnings from the book were really brought alive and into community through the course. So thank you for bringing that in. And dear Coryna, would you like to share how, briefly your experience with the ZASP course?
Yeah, hello, dear friends. I came to the ZASP course in the summer of 2023, and I actually decided to join as part of my research. As a PhD candidate, I'm researching how climate change impacts mental health and what kinds of interventions spiritual workers, mental health workers are using to support people who have maybe climate anxiety. And I found that in the ZASP course, it really helped me access frankly, the dread I feel about climate change, because those feelings just are so deep that it really is hard to even get to know them without the support of a community. And I was really grateful to the teachers and the other participants in the ZASP course that created the conditions where I was able to get to know those feelings. It's a really powerful offering. And I think what stuck with me most from the course was I think at one point, Thich Nhat Hanh says, this civilization will end anyway. It was always going to end. And what that meant for me was like, yes, our civilization will end, but it doesn't have to end this way. And it doesn't have to end with so much violence. And that is something that really keeps me going in my activism. So thank you.
Thank you, dear Coryna, and you've touched on many topics that I'm sure resonate with many others in terms of what motivated them to do the course, for sure. So we'd really love to explore some of the key themes. So some of you will have done the course, but some of you this will be new to, and you'll be wondering what the relationship is between mindfulness and climate activism, actually. What is the connection there? So I would love to come back to you, Felipe, and just ask if you could share a little bit on that. Like, how do you see mindfulness and the climate activism, the climate movement as connected? And maybe you could share some of the ways that your own practice supports your activism and your connection to the earth.
Yeah, I think maybe start from this question of when we talk about mindfulness, there's always the sense of like mindfulness of something, right? This is what we study time and time again in Plum Village. This idea that there's an object of our mindfulness, of our consciousness, however we want to call it. And I think the Tibetans talk about this idea of like training our minds, and like we go to the gym and train our body, or we go running to feel well and to be fit. I think especially today with such a sort of widespread sense of crisis, where it's easier to imagine the end of the world than imagining the end of capitalism, right? And so the practices that we do at Plum Village and during the ZASP course help us recognize the suffering that we all experience, the suffering that we feel when we see all the atrocities and things, horrible things that are happening today. As people have been saying, the first live stream genocide we're witnessing. So it's heartbreaking and it's very painful. And sometimes we feel very frustrated and we feel very despairing. It's very overwhelming and it's hard to know what to do. So the practice help us grapple, embrace, recognize, and I think over time transform the feelings. And by transforming, I think it's acknowledging them, and it's this idea of like learning to suffer well, right? We are always sometimes experiencing discomfort and dissatisfaction and plainly pain and sadness and helplessness and all of that. But also the practice, mindfulness can help us also touch the seeds of joy. And I think in my case, yeah, as an activist, I think I've been able to learn and to being able to be more open to appreciate and to experience and to cultivate the sense of love for the land, right? The earth is an incredible 4.6 billion year superorganism, and we are part of it. We are life itself. We are nature, right? As the title of today's conversation is about. Um, and we can experience that sense of kinship and that sense of belonging, but it's also something that we need to cultivate like any other relationship. And I was just saying earlier in our chat with some of the ZASP team that I just been for a walk, and if we were to spend a little bit more time in the woods nearby and just learning to listen more deeply and learning to kind of think with our body, to feel, to be more embodied. I think we will live differently and we will live at a different rhythm. And I think in that way, yeah, I feel very grateful for the practice. I have a quote here that I wanted to share that I read recently from an indigenous Atiwamek in Canada. We are at home everywhere. The forest is our home, our drugstore, our pantry, our church, our school. You could do everything on the territory. That's why when we moved by canoe, we were never homesick. We were always home. So I think with the practice, we can learn um, to hold all the different complexity and range of feelings that we experience today. That is part of our nature of being human. Um, yeah, when the world is on fire, we can also, and we have to, in a way, experience the beauty of the world, as well as cultivating compassion. And I think, and I will finish here, but just this sense of like, uh, Thai teaching Don Hanh, our teacher, was saying that the Buddha of the future will be a community. And I think in that sense, ZASP, this course is also a space for collective intelligence, but also collective care. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Felipe. You touch on, many important points there, and really this sense of like interconnection with the world around us and how important that is for kind of nurturing and sustaining activism over time and keeping us engaged in the compassion for the suffering and also joy for the beauty, gratitude for the beauty of the world. Thank you so much. And building on that, I'd love to ask Georgina, because you mentioned you're also an activist. Could you share a bit about how your mindfulness practice has helped you with different experiences, such as maybe sometimes really strong emotions and suffering can arise in relation to being an activist, such as eco-anxiety or even burnout? Would you be able to share, from your experience, how having a mindfulness practice has helped support you with those types of strong emotions?
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Yes, I have actually experienced burnout before. I'm an entrepreneur and an activist, and it's in the beginning part of the course. It speaks to how if we take care of ourselves, we're also taking care of nature. And it's something that really resonated with me, and it reminds us that we are nature, right? So we're not separate from it, this aspect of inner being. And when we have this call in life to take a stand for things and maybe do difficult work, it's really easy sometimes to give of ourselves, overgive, and not replenish and not fill our cup back and not come home to ourselves. And mindfulness has been something that I've always come back to. I'm so grateful it entered my life, and it actually came into my life because of nature. I started climbing mountains, and it's partially physical, yes, but it's very much mental. And storms come on the mountain, and unexpected challenges come on the mountain, and there's a lot of suffering on the mountain. And at the same time, there's so much beauty and there's so much love for the awe and everything that's around you. And maybe my time in mountains was this first beautiful example of how joy and suffering can coexist. And Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings, also when I was going through really personal, difficult challenges, he teaches so much about how joy and suffering can coexist. And even recently I've experienced, because life unfortunately, has its own cycle and its own rhythms. We don't get to choose when the challenges come. And this teaching has really been prevalent around joy is a revolution, right? We don't get to choose the challenge, but we can sit in our practice, we can connect with ourselves, we can connect with the earth. And even for that split moment, there's some aspect of joy, of peace, of reconnection to love. And I think it's so important to, again, replenish our cup. We can't give from an empty cup. And so if we want to continue to do this good work in the world, it's important to have tools, practices, and community to keep going and to feel supported. So I think that's the other beautiful aspect of the course is community, and just being able to hear and understand what other people's challenges are, and we realize that we're not alone. And how connected we all really are because we're sharing this one home. Doesn't matter like how beautiful, you're all calling in from all different parts of the world. And here we are bonded together, right, by Earth and by our love for it. So.
Thank you, dear Georgina. Yeah, really powerful how you share your way into that connection between joy and suffering in the mountains. That kind of, it brings a very visceral image to mind. And yeah, what you say about community, Felipe touched on it also, that Thich Nhat Hanh said that the next Sangha, the next Buddha will be a Sangha, the next Buddha will be a community. And this is like a message that runs throughout the course and throughout Plum Village's teachings, the power of community. And on that point, I'd love to bring you into the discussion, Coryna, and yeah, ask how you see this role of community in your practice and in your activism.
Yeah, thanks so much for that question, Flo. So after I completed the ZASP course, I had the good fortune to interview John Bell for my research. And, we'd had a great interview. And at the end, he said, I have this project, Beloved Community Circles, and we're actually hiring a program manager. You should apply. And 2 years later, here I am. I work as the program director for Beloved Community Circles. And for me, that really has been how I've been able to keep my learnings from the ZASP course really active as part of my life. So BCC creates pods of folks who are committed to practicing mindfulness together, caring for one another, and engaging in climate justice work. And we trust pod members to decide what the priorities are for their area because we think that people are the experts on what the core issues are in their city, in their town. And organizing this network has felt like, for me, this is my contribution in activism, is supporting people to be engaged, because it takes a village to change a town, and it takes many circles working distinctly towards the same goal of a just world, to actually transform our society at its base and create a world in which we honor the needs of the earth and all of her creatures. So yeah, the Beloved Community Circles model is based on John's lifetime of experience and in Plum Village, and just the belief that, it's not sustainable to be engaged in activism if we're going it alone. We need each other to make this, because there are going to be setbacks. There are going to be really serious challenges that we face in the next decades. We're all on the same page about that. And if we have the support of a small, intimate, loving community who can cheer us up when we fall down, who can help us see the possibilities when we don't see any, that's the only way change really is able to happen. So that's been my engagement following the ZASP course, and it really has helped me to be much more involved than I was before. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you, dear Coryna. And it's so beautiful to hear how you connected with John and like now working with Beloved Community Circles directly as a result of the ZASP course. It's such a beautiful story of connection, like concrete connection. And for those that don't know, John Bell is also one of the teachers on the ZASP course. So within the course, we kind of incorporate pathways of support, ways that you can connect in a Sangha, in community, and Beloved Community Circles are one of the pathways that we flag up as like ways that people can stay engaged in community over time. So really appreciate you, Coryna, being here and sharing a bit about that pathway. And I also see in the chat box, one of our dear friends, Luke, is also really excited that you're here and is part of a Beloved Community Circle himself. And just it's wonderful to see some of your comments on the chat box, and we will share like resources afterwards. So for example, links to the Beloved Community Circles, the beautiful quote that Felipe shared. I see a request for that. So we'll do a follow-up email with the recording and some of the resources that have been shared. But really aware now that we're talking a lot about this course, and some people will know all about it and other people will be like, what is this course actually? So I would love to, we are going to have a further discussion on the panel, but we're just going to pause for a moment to hand over to my colleague Sophie, who's going to share a little bit more about the course itself. And then whilst she's doing that, really inviting any questions, any comments you want to share in the chat box, really welcome. But yeah, just wanted to give an opportunity to just a little bit of a breakdown of what the course is for those that don't know. So Sophie, if you're there, then we'd love to hand over to you for a moment to share a bit more.
Hello, thank you, Flo. Hi everyone, really nice to see you all. Super delighted to see so many alumni here, as well as lots of new friends. Definitely a testament to how gorgeous this community is, and long lasting. I and actually many on the ZASP team came as a participant on the ZASP course. I did the pilot course and I absolutely loved it. But yeah, for anybody who's new to the course, we'd love to invite you to join the next cohort, which is running in, so we've got 2 this year. We've got one in English from the 19th of October till the 7th of December. And also for the first time in Spanish, which is the 24th of October till the 12th of December. So there's lots of different teachings and practices from over 20 Plum Village teachers. Also featuring the wonderful Felipe here. And then there's also archival footage from Thich Nhat Hanh. Lots of live events and community sharing and opportunities to engage with one another. It's a super flexible and accessible course, so that we really want to offer the opportunity to follow at your own pace. So all live events are recorded and shared, so you can watch or rewatch whenever is best for you. Yeah, we also have lots of hundreds of scholarships available for both the English and the Spanish cohort. And we would also love to invite anybody that has joined us today. We'd love to offer a 10% discount as well off of all standard tickets for the course. So that you can see the slide here. You can if you would like to join, you're welcome to share to scan the little QR code. We'll also share all of this information after the call in the follow-up email. But yeah, you can also learn more at the website, which is plumvillage.org/ZASP for the English cohort and plumvillage.org/es/ZASP for the Spanish cohort. Yeah, so thank you so much. Really grateful to be here with everyone.
Thank you, dear Sophie, for sharing a little bit more about the course itself. And thank you, yeah, indeed, all of the alumni that are joining and sharing their own experiences of the course. Yeah, it really helps to bring it to life. And get that sense of the impact that it can have on people. So really appreciate that. And the other thing we wanted to do to kind of connect with you all a little bit more before we come back to our panel is just share a brief poll to just hear a little bit from you all as a whole. So I'm just gonna see if I can hopefully you can see a poll pop up on your screen now. So we've got one question for alumni. Do you still meet in your sharing group from the ZASP course? There's small sharing groups that take place throughout the ZASP course, and we have 4 sharing group sessions during the course, but what we've noticed is that many alumni continue to meet in their sharing groups. So that's where that question is coming from. And then those that are on this call new to the ZASP course, are you planning to join the next course cohort? Some of you might already be signed up. It's the English cohort, like Sophie mentioned, is starting later this month, as is the Spanish cohort. Or some of you might plan to, and maybe some of you are still not sure, and that's why you're here. And then for everyone, it would be really helpful also to, just hear what you think has been or could be most supportive in the course. So some of the topics that and also in the rest of our discussion this evening, so some of the topics we've already touched on, helping with climate anxiety, connecting to like-minded community, helping to support your well-being or become more engaged, or supporting with the risk of burnout. I'm really welcoming any other comments you want to share in the chat box. But I'm just going to leave that poll open for another few moments, and then I will close it and we'll share the results with you all so that we can get to know each other and see who's joining together this evening. It's really interesting to see. So just leaving the poll open for one more breath. Okay, I'm going to share the results. Hopefully you can all see the results on your screen now. So we see about a third of people still meet regularly with their sharing groups, which is wonderful. And about a third of people are already signed up to join the course. Yay! And some people are planning to, or some people not sure. And yeah, interesting that community really comes out highest there in terms of what you think could be the most supportive in the course and generally. So yeah, thank you so much. I would love to kind of just go back to the panel whilst we're kind of looking through some of your questions, just to see if any on the panel have any reflections on what's come out there, particularly on those topics and what resonates most with people. Maybe I can go back to Felipe.
Yeah, I think the sense of like this question of finding the others, I think that where you also refer, Flo, this idea of yeah, how do we build into this collective intelligence? How do we bridge the sense of separation, not only from the living world, from the modern human world, but how do we weave this sense of care, solidarity, reciprocity, um, especially today when there seems to be so much division and polarity, and our tradition comes from Vietnam, from times of this thing called in Vietnam the American War, what's known in the West as the Vietnam War. And our teacher was all about sort of being able to cultivating love and understanding, and by that I mean the sense of, yeah, how do we cultivate the skills, the wisdom, the care to be able to engage with people, and to be able to bridge our kind of like differences and stuff. So I think that comes to mind. And I think this question of like how can we feel inspired about the world to come, the future as it unravels, and how can we feel like more part of yeah, the community that is working on repair, on stopping the harm, on reparations, and things that in a way feel that are contributing to the well-being and the healing, and so I think in that sense, I think for me Plum Village has been a lot about yeah, finding some other incredible, really inspiring people who are also in this journey together of like trying to get to know themselves, but also becoming really aware of how important are the others for our journey, for reflecting to us, for feedback, for support, for being able to grieve together, being able to support each other. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Felipe. Yeah, that sense of connection coming out so strongly, and how we can be there for each other on our journey is actually quite touching for me, that sharing with you, Felipe, because of course we're like long-term Sangha friends, and I really feel that sense of connection on the path. Yeah, like as you weave through life can have such a powerful impact on your journey, and it shows up in ways that you don't expect. So yeah, thank you so much. And I saw someone asked in the chat box how many people have actually done the ZASP course, and it's actually been more than 5,000 people over since the course started in 2023. Yeah, so more than 5,000 people in across over 90 countries. So really, one of the really beautiful things about the course is that sense of kind of global connection and mutual support in these kind of large events, and also in those smaller sharing circles, because sometimes it can be that when you're in those smaller Sangha groups, and Coryna, this is really the case in beloved community circles as well, that you build those like deep roots where you can kind of, engage over time. I wonder if there's, Coryna, just to kind of come back to you on the kind of maintaining, because one thing we hear is like the course itself is a 7-week course, and it's kind of a mixture of practices and teachings and different things. But then once that 7 weeks is over, then kind of maintaining that sense of practice. I wonder if you would like to share anything that's helped you with that.
Yeah, it's so tough. And, I think that one thing is, in my beloved community circle, the idea is you want to create a space, and there's a reason why it's local and intimate, because it becomes a space that you actually want to go to on a regular basis. It's like, it feels like it's not just your social justice engagement, it's also catching up with friends, learning what's going on in each other's lives. And so the idea is you're going to create a pod that feels really meaningful to you, and feels like it, it fills you up more than it depletes you. And so many organizing spaces just, are depleting or lead to burnout. So I think that's what I would say about sustaining it. And then there's also like, just the reality that there are going to be times when you can't be as engaged as you want to be, and that doesn't mean that you never go back to it. If you want to be doing something for life, you have to be able to take breaks. And so it's really about just honoring your own capacity and being in the stretch zone, not the overwhelm zone, not the complacency zone, but the stretch zone where you're making an effort and you're not overextending. And at Beloved Community Circles, we try to support our network through kind of ongoing programming. We have a court training every year. We're in the middle of it now. And then when we're not doing the intensive training, we have kind of once a month drop-in calls just to check in with people and see how it's going. Because I think, it's helpful to have that, just a place to touch base, and before going back to your own like local circle. But what I would say about sustainability is just having your engagement be rooted in relationships is really what makes it sustainable over the long term.
Thank you, Coryna. And I think, creating space to build those relationships is really important. And I think that's so central to the Plum Village practice as a whole. And then also connected to the ZASP course, to Beloved Community Circles. There's many ways that we can build and sustain our communities, but it's really about that depth of relationship as well, and finding different ways. And I just want to touch on to share a little bit more about how we build community within these types of events and sharing groups in the course. For those that don't know, we have these 5 live events throughout the course where we have monastic teachers and sometimes lay Dharma teachers joining us, and it's a really beautiful chance to connect collectively. And then in these smaller circles, you have the chance to more share with a closer group in depth. And I guess I'd love to come back to you, Georgina, and ask what your experience of Sangha and community is, both within the course, but and also now in your life, in your practice, and your work.
Yes, I think I actually teach also on belonging and inclusivity. So belonging is so critical to all of us, right? And when we're, I always relate it to, imagine you move to a new city. What's the first thing you might hope for is that you find community somehow, and that you have some level of acceptance, some level of sharing, some level of compassion. And so I think I saw a couple, I'm going to link this to a couple of questions I saw too. Some people asking, like, do you have to be an activist to take this course? And because we're talking a lot about that, you don't have to be. And that's the thing. I mean, it's awareness, it's consciousness, and the community for me, both within the course and outside of the course. If I think of like the community that I tried to cultivate or nurture, is community that has awareness, that wants to deepen their awareness of how we're interconnected, that we are nature, having this understanding, this connection. And like I mentioned earlier, just because I have these beautiful experiences in nature, I realize that there's so much of the population that doesn't. And most of us that are on this call, maybe we can say that we might assume that we all have these deep connections and experiences with nature, but not everyone gets to have those, even just by proximity of where they live or what their day-to-day life is. And so I think that that's also power in community, is introducing others to that love for nature. and it doesn't have to be this big, huge adventure or something else. It could be literally meditating under a tree and just letting the sun hit your skin one day and feeling the warmth and love of the planet. And to me, this is also cultivating community and love for the planet. And I learn a lot from everyone that I get to interact with through the course. And I think through work, I'm a board member for 1% for the Planet. So it's about 5,000 businesses worldwide that commit to donating 1% of their revenue towards nonprofits. And, you know, that gets more and more challenging every day as all, businesses are challenged in different capacity. But again, it's another community that I learn from, because maybe our hearts are in the right place, but it gets harder to even, follow that commitment and do the work. So I would just encourage whoever's listening, one, that if you're considering taking the course or becoming part of this community in any capacity, that just meet yourself where you are in your journey. And maybe you're in the, I want to learn and feel more connected to myself and the earth. And maybe you're an activist already and you want support in that realm. Or maybe you just don't know and you're open to the adventure of where this all might take you with awareness. And yeah, I hope that answers your question.
That does. That's beautiful, Georgina, and really touches on the theme of our event today in terms of being in community with nature. I think it's such a powerful and important point to remember and to focus on and to practice, like you say, to put into practice in our lives. So it's been really beautiful and powerful and touching to read some of your comments and responses in the chat. And also it's a different experience for us. So those that join the live ZASP events during the course, usually we tend to keep the chat box and the reactions closed throughout most of the event to really give a collective focus. In this event, we decided to open it out to really have that engaged connection. So yeah, thank you for being with us in that experiment. And now we would love to, in a moment, draw our time together to a close with a beautiful song from one of our friends and colleagues, Aroa. But before we do so, I would love to just go back to each of the panel and just see if there are any kind of closing thoughts or words you would like to share, to help support us closing this event today. So maybe we can go back to you first again, Felipe.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming, everybody. And just to say, yeah, this is a space that we created somehow for us to come together, and we are here to sort of build refuge together, to build sanctuary, as our friend Bayo Komolafe said. So reach out to us if you cannot afford the course. Maybe we can see what we can do. We are also doing retreats in Plum Village, bringing people together who are concerned not only with the ecological and sort of climate crisis, but also with what's going on more broadly. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Yeah.
Thank you, dear Felipe. And Coryna, to you.
Just thank you all for being here. This is an important act in your social justice engagement journey. So thanks for your work. Yeah.
Thank you, dear Coryna. Thank you for being here. And Georgina?
Just so much gratitude for everyone for being here. And I hope that it helps spark a connection to connect more with yourself, and maybe ask yourself how you can connect a little bit more with the earth this week in a simple way, and start to build that practice. And thank you.
Thank you, dear panel. Thank you, dear community, for being here with us. And now I would love to invite Aroa to join us and to help us close our time together as a community with a beautiful song. yeah, over to you, Aurora.
Hello, dear friends. So if anybody knows much about Plum Village or has been to any of the retreats or practices in community, you'll know that singing is a big part of the tradition. It might be a bit new to some people, but we always find that when we sing together, it makes us happier. It makes us gives us more energy to do the tasks. So I'd love to offer a little song. This is kind of like a Plum Village favorite. So if you know it, I would love to ask you to sing along. I feel as maybe a team member was going to put the lyrics in the chat, so you can sing along. So please do that. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming like a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true, and I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free.
Thank you so much, dear Aurora. That was a really beautiful, beautiful version of this song. And thank you again, dear panel, dear sister Don Hanh, dear community. It's been really beautiful to have this time together.